Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode number 182. I am Brendan. We're going to talk about UFC Fight Night, Grasso versus Araujo, Jonathan Martinez, Cub Swanson, Dusko, Todorovic versus Jordan Wright, Rafael Assuncao, Victor Henry. We're going to cover the main card here. And then if you're looking for the prelims, that'll be in the next video. So if you're new to the channel, real quick, I cover MMA. I do fight breakdowns, UFC, Bellator, not LFA, Cage Warriors, PFL. You got the playoffs coming out for that. I cover all those things. I break down round by round each fight. Subscribe to the channel so you know when the next video is coming out. And as you can tell, I just record this in one shot. All right, let's get going. Alexa Grasso getting the win here over Viviane Araujo. So, a couple things. This scorecard here from Mike Bell. I'm not surprised. I don't agree with it, but I'm not surprised, and we'll break it down here. We'll get into it. So, overall take on this performance and how it sets up the flyweight division. Grasso's really good. She's really good. Okay, she has some holes in her game, and I see her losing a decision against someone who game plans properly and can execute it, obviously. So, again, whenever I say this, it seems like I'm demeaning a fighter or I'm saying that they're easy to beat. That's not what I mean. Like, there's a game plan to beat Kamaru Usman, right? There's a couple of them that can beat him. And we've only seen one guy be able to do it in the UFC. And even then, it's not a lucky... That was not a lucky kick, by the way. And I don't want to get too much on the side. But what I mean is, Alexa Grasso has holes in her game. And the fact that she counterpunched for so much of this fight really, it honestly can hurt her, not because necessarily like a different game plan. Viviane, I thought had a decent game plan. I thought she did really well round to round, but it could come down to judging. You know, you have different judges looking at this, seeing things slightly different from a different angle each time. Obviously, they're sitting in, their seats in their position around the octagon. They might see some shot land or not land from her opposing fighter and judge accordingly based off of their view. So because of that, it opens her up to close losses if she keeps this kind of fighting style. Now, again, Viviane is a very aggressive fighter, so maybe this is more of an adaptation to the aggression that was coming at her, but I would argue against that because the second round did not show that out. So let's talk about what actually happened here. So Viviane was mostly pressuring forward. She looked like she had the bigger power in the first round. They were trading almost 1-for-1 with jabs. They were both landing. Both women were landing their jabs really well. Close round, but I gave the damage to Viviane, especially for the hard leg kicks, okay? So in this first round here, you want to look. So in the first round, they both landed three leg kicks, but the ones coming from Viviane were much, much harder, okay? Body shots were in favor of Grasso. Cool. A couple of those were kicks to the body. Not necessarily as damaging. And then the shots that landed upstairs, 23-24, so almost even there. And again, I had the power advantage for Viviane. And it was a close round, and I already gave it to Viviane for the damage. But let's say because of the damage, the harder strikes coming from her, because Grasso did beat her on overall strikes, 32-27. She actually outstruck her in almost every round here. But if you want to say because she outstruck her by those 5 strikes and that leveled the damage playing field, the damage is so close, then if the damage is that close, then the control goes to Viviane anyway, because she was the one pressing forward, right? She was the one who had control of the cage the entire time. She was pressing forward the entire first round. Like I said, the aggression, all of that was Araujo. So if you gave that to Grasso, I'm not mad, but I had it for Viviane. Second round here. This is the easiest round to score by far. 38-20 in favor of Grasso. Grasso started swinging really sloppy in the beginning of the round with big overhands, but then immediately brought it back, dialed it back in, started throwing some straight shots, and then backed out and landed some really good jabs, like awesome straights, avoiding the shots of Viviane coming back at her a little bit more. She actually took 7 less strikes in this round than she did in the first round. This was her best round, and it was the most definitive round by far of the entire fight. Easiest round to score. So I had it 19-19 going into the third. Easy round for her. Viviane did get a takedown, but didn't land any damage. And like I said, there was Grasso landed 2 really big shots in this round. Easy putting her over the top. Third round here was a slower pace for Grasso. She dialed it back again. It was almost a exact repeat of the first round. Viviane was able to keep up with her output. You want to see 34-30 in favor of Grasso. So again, only coming on top by 4 strikes, even less than in the first round. And again, I gave the power advantage to Viviane. Now, again, if you want to make the argument that the damage was even, then or close, so close that, it's indistinguishable, which I could understand because Grasso did land more shots, but I thought Viviane landed the bigger ones. So if you want to make that argument again, I refer you back to my argument for round 1. In that first round, Araujo was the one moving forward. She was the aggressor. She was trying to push the action. And I understand that's way down the list when it comes to, because it's effective striking and grappling is first, right? Okay, damage is number 1, effective striking and grappling is number 2, and then you have everything else below that. Octagon control, aggression, all those things. Guess what? If everything's even before that, that's why those factors play in. And like I said, if you want to make the argument that it's dead even, then Viviane should get this round. So I had her up 29-28. The judges did not see it that way. There's a lot of moments of posturing, like here in this fourth round, there was a lot of moments of posturing back and forth and standing around and not doing much. And Grasso was playing a really dangerous game here. Like I mentioned at the top of this, this is why. She has better, cleaner boxing, but she's allowing Viviane to control the cage and match her output. And you can see here in this fourth round, Viviane actually outstruck her. Okay? And here's the other thing. This is not a carbon copy of round 1 and 3, though, because the bigger shots, and there was a clean right hand that landed twice for Grasso in this round. So I gave her the damage advantage. I'm being even here. I'm not judging this because I favor one fighting style over the other. I'm trying to grade on damage first, and I gave the damage to Grasso, even though she got outstruck. 25-24. I don't think the argument needs to go to octagon control because I felt like Grasso landed the bigger shots in this one. Viviane wasn't able to land with the big damage that she did in the previous rounds. In the round 1 and round 3, the rounds that I had her winning. So I had it even going into the 5th. 5th round was a carbon copy of 1 and 3. But at the very end of this round, Grasso landed a 2-piece combo that stole it for me. And she did outstrike her yet again, 25-24. So it's a reverse of the previous round as far as striking totals. But she landed the bigger shots yet again. And it was right at the end of the round that put her over the top. Now, on the judges' scorecards, it wouldn't have mattered, right? They were giving this fight to Grasso the whole time. This is why I disagree. So here's what I wrote at the end. So I was like, I said this fight should be Grasso's. I believe she did win. I don't think it's controversial to say that. I also wouldn't have thought it was controversial if Viviane got the win, right? I wouldn't have agreed if Viviane got the win here, but I wouldn't disagree with it. I also don't necessarily. Sorry, I wouldn't. It's not that I wouldn't disagree with it. I wouldn't be surprised, right? I could understand it. That's why I understand this 50-45 from Mike Bell in favor of Grasso. I understand it. I do. I think it's wrong, but I understand where he's coming from. The only definitive round in this entire fight was round 2, and it was Grasso's. Okay? So for sure, Grasso won at least one round. There's no argument for round 2. The other rounds, Viviane got some takedowns here and there, wasn't able to really do anything with them. But 50-45, I don't agree with. Saul D'Amato and Junichiro Kamijo over here, they got the decision right. All 3 judges, in my opinion, got it right, but they just had the scores wrong. I don't agree that if they're following the criteria properly, that you give 4 rounds to Grasso. I don't agree. The fact that all 3 of them saw every one of those rounds possible for Grasso. 2 of them saw almost all the rounds for Grasso, and then one of them saw every round for Grasso. Kind of calls into question what they're actually looking for. And this is why like I said at the top, said I would bring it back. This is why I think Grasso's playing a dangerous game with this fighting style. Because what if a judge had my opinion? Now, I know I'm not an expert. I'm not a judge. I haven't gone through the official training course. I get it. I have also watched thousands of fights. I like to think that I can call a fight somewhat objectively, and I bring myself back and I let myself know. We'll talk about a fight that I could not be objective on this card. But I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just trying to follow the criteria. And if you have a judge doing what I'm doing, Grasso loses his fight. Grasso should still win, right? But maybe Viviane could have won this fight. But that's what I mean is another fighter could have had almost the exact same fighting style, fighting plan as Araujo, but executed just slightly better. Not taking those last 2 punches in that last round, out damaging her in the 4th round again, and she gets the win. I would have had her up 4-1. These judges wouldn't, but that's okay. That's not okay. What I'm saying is Grasso is not setting herself up for success, long-term success in this division by fighting like this. She has incredible boxing. Her striking is so crisp. It's very accurate. She's got good takedown defense. She's active off her back on the ground. Dude, she's a real talent. So that brings us to the next question. With Grasso winning, she was ranked number 5 before this weekend. Viviane was ranked number 6. With Grasso winning, I think she bounces above Andrade, probably above Lauren Murphy. I don't think she's going above Santos. And I don't think she gets a title shot. I think Santos is probably... Well, I don't know if they're booked. I've been bad about looking at bookings. But because she's in the conversation, let's go ahead and let's briefly talk about my thoughts on Shevchenko versus what I saw from Grasso. There was nothing in that fight that told me Grasso could beat Shevchenko. If she's going to try to have a point battle against Shevchenko on the feet, I don't think it goes well. She tries to have a grappling battle, I don't think it goes well. She wants to have a power battle, like a brawl. I think that she could get lucky, but I don't think that goes well. So overall, I do not like her chances in that championship fight. Now against Caitlin Chookagian or Talia Santos or Lauren Murphy, I think she can smoke Lauren Murphy. Lauren could take her down and make it a boring fight that she ends up winning a bullshit split decision like she did before, but I don't think that's the case. So, let me know what you guys thought. I thought the fight was entertaining. I thought it was fun to watch. There was some, like I said, some posturing moments and some feeling out later in the fight, which I felt shouldn't have been the case, but overall, not a bad fight. Okay, let's talk about something that made me not sad, but yeah, it makes me sad. Let's just talk about it. Cub Swanson losing to Jonathan Martinez. Dude, Martinez is so fucking good. Cub Swanson still has it, but it's just I don't know if he can. I think he can still win even at the highest level. It's just the game has moved past him. Cub was fighting at 135 for the first time, which is interesting. Martinez kicks so fucking hard, man. Cub blocked most of them, if not all of them. They were, upstairs, but he blocked with both arms. They just, oh God, that's got to hurt your arms so bad. It's just, striking numbers were in favor of Martinez, but the real part happened at the very end of the round. Martinez caught Cub with a knee at the end of the round to drop him, then followed up with knees to the body, dropped him again. Cub was basically saved by the bell. So, first round, obviously Martinez 10-9, and it's inconsequential because he gets to finish in the second round. Martinez backed him up. Cub dropped to a knee, but then to go for a takedown kind of, but then Martinez got on top. Martinez dropped, then, they get back up. Cub works his way back up. Martinez starts eating away at that lead left leg on the inside, and he landed two low kicks in a row that dropped Cub Swanson. Swanson had his moments, and he landed some decent strikes. Landed a left hook. I think he landed some of his awkward style shots, but one more kick to that left leg, and it was just it, man. Swanson just couldn't handle it anymore. It really fucked his leg up bad. And, getting a TKO finish via leg kick, it doesn't happen very often, but when someone kicks as hard as Martinez, you can understand why. This is one I said that I couldn't be objective on. It would have been, like I said, obviously Martinez clearly won that first round, but if it was close, I probably would have leaned towards Cub Swanson just because I'm, such a huge fan. I just, dude, I don't know. It doesn't make me sad in the same way of watching, like, Tony Ferguson fight the last couple fights. But it does get me worried just a little bit, putting him in there with guys who are going to really fuck him up and who hit hard. So I'd like to see him in maybe, a Clay Guida type fight where it's, two veterans going at it. Just something fun for the older fans, for the old times, and just put him in there, some fun fights. Let's not kill the guy, please. I know that in MMA, the old get fed to the young, and that's a common occurrence, but can we not do that to Cub Swanson, please? For everybody's sake. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, I didn't mention at the top. If you're looking for a specific fight breakdown, the timestamps are down below. All right, Dusko Todorovic taking on Jordan Wright. This was interesting. The note that I wrote beforehand turned out not to matter. Well, it's really weird. So I wrote down Dusko Todorovic. He gets touched really easy. Like, his head movement isn't great. And Jordan hits hard. I figured it was going to be over. I figured they were going to brawl for a little bit, and Jordan was going to catch him and put him out. But Dusko goes for a takedown, gets reversed against the cage in the clinch, and then gets taken down himself, goes for a leg lock, and takes some real punishment on the ground. I thought that first round, I thought it was going to be over. Jordan Wright, actually, I think he landed a total of 50 total strikes. Not significant strikes because a lot of them were on the ground, but I think he landed a total 58. 58 total strikes in that first round, yes. But then Dusko makes it out of there. And in the second round, dude, he just came forward and just started swinging like fucking crazy. Every time Jordan would put the tie clinch on him, he would just start digging hooks to the body. Dude, he landed 100 total strikes, but 58 significant strikes in the second round. Dusko landed to the body over and over again. It got really sloppy, but fun sloppy. Jordan rolled over and just laid down and let Dusko get the mount. The fight was pretty much over after that point, but it did go on for another 15 seconds unnecessarily. Fun win for Dusko. Finally, getting back in the winners column here. He's had his moments, and he's had oof. I was really high on him after his first couple wins his first win in the UFC, and then I don't know. This one didn't tell me much either because he got taken down he got dominated on the ground so easily in that first round. His weaknesses are clearly still there. I don't know how he wins. I don't know how he continue. If you put him in there for fun fights and you want to see people go in there and bang, that's cool. I don't know about his. I am no longer as high on him as I used to be. Moving on, the veteran, Javier Assuncao taking on Victor Henry. This fight was close for most of the time, but Assuncao getting the decision win here. I agree with that. Henry took the center of the cage the entire time, by the way. He started jabbing for range. Rafael was just playing counter, staying against the cage. He landed a few good shots in that first round, but the body kicks from Henry were landing hard. And then Rafael only countering, but he did land really, really hard shots. The pressure and poking shots plus the body shots were the best thing from Henry. I leaned towards Henry in that first round. Even though Assuncao outstruck him, I felt like Henry did enough, especially, again, going back to my argument from the main event, the aggression, the fact that it was so close, and he did land power shots to the body. Close round, but I lean towards Henry. If you want to give it to Assuncao, I understand. Second round here, Henry was sticking to kicks to the leg, shutting Rafael down for the first part of the round, and then Henry slipped on a spinning kick, ends up on the ground. Rafael not able to do anything, not much. He landed one good shot, but Henry was really aggressive off his back. Then Rafael catches a kick and walks him across the cage, wheelbarrows him across the cage, and lands 3 big right hands, and then got a takedown. Beautiful round for Rafael Assuncao. 17-15 as far as total strikes or significant strikes in favor of Assuncao here. Clearly his round, easy peasy, easy for me to score, 19-19. And then this last round, dude, Assuncao just played it really safe. He countered again the entire time, hit really hard when he got his openings. Fighting Rafael makes people look so bad, and he ends the round holding on to one leg, riding out the round knowing he got the win. 20-18 as far as total strikes, but the real story of it was Henry pressing forward, not able to really get going, and Assuncao countering really well. He makes fighters look really bad because he's defensively sound for the most part. Obviously, he did get knocked out by Cody Garbrandt moving forward, but if you let him lead the dance, I don't think his striking is as smooth. So if you let him lead the dance, but then you run the risk of getting taken down, and Henry is a really aggressive fighter, so I'm not going to blame him for that. I don't think Assuncao has what it takes anymore to really make it anywhere significantly in this division anymore. He's no longer he's not in the rankings anymore either. Nope. Yeah, he's not. He's not in the rankings. Anyway, great win for him though. It's just I don't know where he goes from here. Losing to Cody, coming off of 4 losses in a row, and then getting one win against Victor Henry, who isn't a ranked opponent, who's more of an up and comer. So it's a good win for him, but it doesn't tell me that he's going to be successful at the highest level anymore. It does mean that Henry has a lot of stuff that he needs to work on, using effective aggression instead of just aggression, because it's not going to work against these guys, these more savvy veterans with the ability to shut down his forward pressure with solid defense, good head movement, and excellent counters. And you can outdo Henry here. So he's got a lot of stuff to work on, obviously, from this fight. But I still believe that he can make those improvements and move forward and still put together a decent career in the UFC. Based off what I saw there, he's not a world beater yet, but he could be if he puts everything together. Misha Cirkunov fighting Alonzo Menifield. This ended pretty quick. So it's good to see Misha back up at 205. I did not like him at 185. He looked drained, tired, weak, everything bad about cutting that weight. So I'm glad he's back up at 205. But fourth loss in a row. He was never, his first 4 wins in the UFC, Daniel Jolly, who, Alex Nicholson, who, Ian Cutelaba, that's a 50-50 fight a lot of the time, but he's had a ton of losses too. Nikita Krylov, that was a good win at the time, but then he ends up losing to him. No, he didn't lose him later. Again, him and Jotko confused. But then he loses to the upper tier, right? Like Volkan Ozdemir, Glover Teixeira, beats Patrick Cummings, who, again, not in the UFC anymore. Loses to Johnny Walker. Beats Jimmy Crute. That was a decent win. Not bad. But then goes on this losing streak here. Spann, Jotko, Wellington Turman. Why? And then Alonzo Menifield. Like, dude, I'm not saying he's going to, lose his job here, but he's on the verge if he doesn't, right? If he gets one more loss, I think he's out. I've never thought that he was that great to begin with. He was just a bigger guy who could out-grapple, and then people kind of figured it out, and they found a way to deal with it. And especially at the high, I say people figured it out, but really it's just once he got tougher tests, he just can't pass them. Alonzo Menifield's a good fighter. He's good. He's only got 3 losses in the UFC, but he doesn't have a ton of big wins either. So, let's I'm not going to start a hype train here, but Alonzo Menifield does have some power. He's a strong guy, really quick. Alonzo was swinging really hard, trying to end it early. Alonzo ended up landing a huge uppercut that put fucking Menifield put Cirkunov to sleep, man. Put him to sleep. It was a kind of rough one to watch, actually, with how hard he got hit. All right, that is it for the main card. If you guys are looking for the prelims, that's in the next video. If you are new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by. If you made it this far, subscribe to the channel. You'll like all the stuff that I put out. This is what I do. I really appreciate it. If you guys want me to cover another organization, like I said, I covered Cage Warriors last week. Let me know, because I'm down to cover those things if people are interested. It seems that some of these lesser watched organizations tend to get more views for whatever reason. So if that's what you guys are interested in, let me know. I will for sure cover those. The UFC is still my favorite. I still watch it the most, and I'm going to keep covering it. So I'm not going to stop covering the UFC, but all those other organizations, if you're something out there that people really want breakdowns on, I will for sure do that. Let me know in the comments below. I really appreciate y'all for stopping by. Have an amazing week, and I love y'all.